I'm going to share with you guys today some mom hacks that are going to help you not be a hot mess, which who wants to be that? It's like a cutesy term, but we all know it just means that you're a mess and we're trying to make it cute with a mom bun. It's not cute. Nobody wants to be like that. We all want to be like the calm Zen mom that we meet that just seems to be chill. It's not that she has it all together. It's not that her kids behave perfectly and her home is perfect and her life is perfect. That feels like Stepford Wives. We want the mom that just seems like she's unflappable. Okay? You just meet her, you hang out with her, you spend time with her and her kids. They do the nutty things, but she's not flappable. I think we all want to like channel our inner kind of like Zen mom like that. So today I'm going to share with you guys some hacks and tips that are actionable, measurable. These are not like silly, quirky. I mean, listen, I can do that all day long. I can teach you how to get sand off your kids at the beach and get French fries out from underneath your car seats. But today I want to share with you like actual mom hacks for your life to make it better, to be able to see some improvement in the areas that you might feel tempted to embrace the hot mess, but you really actually don't want to. So grab some coffee, grab a notebook, because you're going to want to write these down. I promise you, implementing these, even just one of them, you're going to see some improvements. All right, the first area is kind of like hacking our house. This isn't, again, like using socks to dust and stuff. I love all of that. I talk about that kind of stuff. If your house is feeling unmanageable, is instead of trying to think of it as something you have to do all of it, start with 5 minutes. Give yourself 5 minutes every day that you institute a 5-minute pickup. At some point in the day, whether it's right before your husband comes home from work, first thing when you get up in the morning, right before you go to bed, which is what I would recommend, because if you tidy up before you go to bed, you get to wake up with a clean or tidy-ish house, which is a great way to start a new day. Implementing that 5-minute tidy up somewhere in your day, you can set a timer on your phone. You can do what I do, which is to use a visual timer. I love visual timers. They really help me just because of how my brain works. So if you feel like, yes, I need to see the thing, using a visual timer, setting it for 5 minutes, and doing a 5-minute tidy. You will feel accomplished. You'll feel like you did something. You moved the ball down the field without having to feel like, time to declutter my whole house and get it all clean and organized. Another thing you can do in your house is take a look around and see what are the inanimate objects in this house that seem to have breeding capabilities. If you look around, you're like, how is it that the male it seems to breed over there? I put one there, I come back tomorrow, and there's more. What you need to do is create systems for things that tend to get out of control if not managed. Anything that tends to pile up in a place, creating a lot of clutter in that area, which is very distracting for our brains. And also, like I said, it just tends to pile up because once you see it, once there's a mess, you just, what's one more, right? What's one more? Just add another one on there. The great philosophy for cookies, terrible philosophy for clutter. Obviously, this is going to be kind of problem specific, but just as an example, with mail. When I get my mail, I don't even bring it in the house. It is in my car on the passenger seat when I get it, which is like once a month. Our mailman hates me. I pull up in the driveway, I open my car door, and I stand next to the garbage can. And I go through the mail straight away, and I open everything, I throw things away, I recycle things, whatever. And if there is anything that I am saving and filing, I discard the envelopes, anything that I don't need with it. Now, in my case, the mail doesn't even go in the house because it comes right out here. If there is something that needs to be kept, filed, whatever, it's gonna come out here. I'm not claiming perfection with this system, but I am telling you that it prevents the mail from backing up and piling up in the house all over our countertops. The next hack is to train your children. I don't know why we can train dogs in like a couple of days to do stuff, but children, it takes years. I read a book recently about parenting that talked about, you kind of have like your discipline years, your training years, and your coaching years. I honestly loved this visual way of thinking about it. And I could see where each of my kids were, and it really does make a lot of sense. When you are in the training years, that is this block of years where you are training your children how to be humans. You are training them habits like brushing their teeth, putting their laundry away, training them on the expectations of your home. We want them to do these things right away, but it's not always so easy. Kids sometimes need a lot of repetition. They need a lot of remembering that what's important to you is likely completely unimportant to them. They don't care if their teeth are brushed. They don't care if their laundry is in the hamper. They have no personal investment in this. So think about all the things in your life that are expected of you that you have no personal investment in, and how hard it is to remember to do those things. That's how kids feel about 95% of the things we ask them to do. It's important that we be consistent, firm, but kind in our training years of helping our kids to understand the expectations of our home, so that as they grow, they are becoming not just a loved member of your family, but a contributing member of your family. The next hack is to hack your health. Now listen, I am guilty of this like nobody's business. So I am coming to you humbly to tell you that this can be so hard, especially for moms who put ourselves at the very end of the train. We are the caboose when it comes to dealing with our own stuff, dealing with our health. It's hard to find time to make doctor's appointments, to go and get like a bunch of different tests and stuff like that if you feel like, I'm a little bit concerned about this. Is this mole hairy? It's incredibly important to move your health out of the back seat, bring it to the front seat, and I have a very easy way for you to do that. That is where Circle DNA comes in. And this is the most comprehensive DNA test that you can do, where they're going to give you over 500, yes, that's right, 500 reports across 20 different categories evaluating your health. You don't have to get in the car, you don't have to drive anywhere, you don't have to find a babysitter, you don't have to drag your kids into a waiting room where they're gonna get sick because they like to lick the floor while you're waiting for the doctor. You don't have to do any of that. You just get to open the package, download the app, register your kit on your phone, a quick little swab, package it back up, send it off in their prepaid envelope with free shipping, so that's gonna go right back to them, and then 18 business days later, they are going to send you an incredibly comprehensive report. A lot of information about what your DNA is saying about your overall health, of all the different reports, the categories, the things that you're gonna learn. My main reason for wanting to do this was to look at the diet area. I wanted to see food sensitivities. We know as ladies, as we get older, it gets a little bit harder to maintain our weight or lose weight. Things that have worked for me before haven't worked as well for me now. So I just wanted to see like what's going on in terms of like diet stuff, food sensitivities, caffeine sensitivity, alcohol sensitivity, to help me make better decisions about what an optimal diet would look like for me as an individual person. I also was very anxious to see the genetic risk results section because I have multiple family members that have had various versions of cancer, skin cancer, breast cancer, and some other heart and health related issues. It can be a little bit doom and gloomy to feel like you're just kind of waiting to see. I was really anxious to see what the genetic risk factors were for me and if I had any areas of heightened risk. It's also really great if you want to learn about your ancestry. If you have questions about that, if there's question marks in your family tree and you want a little bit more information, I would highly recommend you try Circle DNA if you would like to find out more information about your own health, prevention of certain diseases, and just knowledge, right? Knowledge is power. So the better we know ourselves and what is going on, it's only going to help us make better decisions. If you want to try Circle DNA, you can use my code, and that's going to get you 33% off the premium kits on circledna.com. So check down below in the description box, and in just a few weeks, you can be hacking your health. The next hack is to organize your house.
You're like, duh, Angie, of course it should be better organized.
When you're thinking about organizing, I want you to organize in a way that makes sense for you. Sometimes it's very tempting to see what professional organizers and people who really they know how to make something look very aesthetically pleasing. That doesn't always mean that that's how it's going to work best for you. As I always say, at some point in every video, it seems, know thyself. The better you know thyself, yourself, the better you can make decisions about what's going to work for you. Not every organizing strategy works for everybody. Cass from Clutterbug did a series of videos where she teaches you how to organize by like your organizing style. So you can go watch those videos and figure out the different organizing styles and which one would actually work for you. Don't be tempted to organize in a way that you see on the box or at the store, or just by an influencer that you follow that you like the way her house looks. That may not actually be functional for you. It's gonna vary for everybody. And the good news is, between all of the various organization companies, brands, and people that are out there these days, you're certain to find the exact organizing products you need that work for you, and a system and a way that works for you. My next hack, you're gonna wish you could come through the camera and smack me, but you can't. Make fewer decisions. You're like, what?
What am I supposed to do with that information?
Well, I'm gonna tell you exactly what to do with that information. The amount of decisions that we as human beings have to make every single day is ridiculous. Okay, it's just out of control. Modernity and all of the beauty of civilization and community and all the things that we've created, all of the advancements, it's also making us kind of more miserable because we have so many options now that it's like you don't even know what to do by the moment. It's a wonder that we don't, every single person on this planet, have ADHD or something. We probably all have it to some degree. It's just decision fatigue. You don't end up doing anything because you're just like, I can't make another decision. I don't care. Make fewer decisions. How can you do that? Well, similar to setting up systems for paper in your home, you want to set up systems for kind of anything that you can that will allow you to either only have to make that decision one time, or to maybe only have to make that decision one time a month, or sit down and think about it only once a week, once a month, right? Think of like meal planning. Instead of every day going like, what's for dinner tonight, right? That seems miserable. You can write out a meal plan. You can start small. You can do 1 week at a time. Or you can go for the jugular and make a month meal plan. Shop for that whole month. Then the whole month, you don't have to think about what's for dinner. You just, like a robot, you just go to the list and let the list tell you what's for dinner. It sure does free up your brain to think about other things instead of humming and hawing about what's for dinner every day until you die. And a little tiny like side pro tip is to, the night before, you've got everything planned out, every night before you go to bed, just take a quick little glance-ski at that list to make sure that you don't need to pull something out that needs to thaw, a freezer meal. You don't want to get to dinner time, go to your list and go, this is what we're having for dinner tonight. No, we're not, because I didn't take that out to thaw. So that's my little like side tip caveat, is you don't have to make decisions. It's a good idea the night before to look and see what you're having for dinner tomorrow. The list is telling you, you're not deciding, making sure that you take any steps you need to then. Speaking of lists, my next hack for you is to keep running lists. This can look a million different ways. A couple of ways that I really like that maybe will work for you is using the Notes app on your phone. Make different notes within there. Give them cute little emojis, silly little titles or things, but lists. If there's like books to read, documentaries to watch, anything that you find yourself thinking about and being like, oh, I should write that down, and then you never do. And you're like, I'll think of it later.
No, you won't.
Like when you wake up in the middle of the night and you had a weird dream and you're like, I should write that down. That was weird. It's all right. I'll think of it tomorrow. No, you won't. It'll be gone from your brain, never to be pulled from the archives again. Write things down if you actually want to remember them. If you have a genius idea, write it down. If you're in the car, speech to text. Let your phone record your voice saying the thing that you want to remember, because you won't remember when you get there and you think that you will. You just won't. I've learned this the hard way, okay? I know. I probably just could have been like a millionaire with some genius idea and a bunch of inventions if I would have written things down for the last 30 years, but I didn't. So all of my like Elon Musk level ideas are just gone to the wind. Another really cool idea, which I love and have recently started implementing, so perhaps that's why I'm sharing it, is something called a commonplace notebook. Basically, it's just like a brain dump notebook. I'm not a journaler. I'm not going to sit down and write out like what happened in my day, mostly because if I ever end up on an episode of Dateline, like I don't want them pulling my journal out and being like, she said this about so-and-so on this day. That seems to always come out. It's like everybody on that show has had a journal at some point. But a commonplace notebook is a great way for you to keep track of like things that inspire you, ideas. You just write it in your commonplace notebook. You just open it up and go. There's not a bunch of like sorting, filing, moving things, like a running brain dump. And this is honestly kind of how I already use my to-do list, but this is a little bit more of like a tidier place for that stuff to go. But you can write recipes, a spin on Bujo, like a bullet journal, and a planner, and a brain dump, and a regular journal. It's kind of all mixed into one for people like me who can't commit to keep up with any one of those things regularly. But a commonplace notebook just gets to be whatever I want in there, you know? So of course I love that. No walls, no fences, right? Write whatever you want in here. If my commonplace notebook ends up on Dateline, I think it will be less shameful. The whole idea is to get it out of your brain down onto paper, but make it retrievable. If you think it and you're like, I'll remember that later, you're never going to retrieve that later. Put it in a place like the Notes app or an actual notebook where it can be retrieved later. The next hack, I saved this one towards the end because I don't want to tick people off, and I know people will fall off by the end of this video. My next hack is to build better habits. I think there's a lot of excuse making that we all do when it comes to habits. We have to determine whether or not those habits matter to us or not. The truth is if it matters to you, you will find a way to remember how to do it. Now, I highly recommend, if you want some help in this area, checking out the book Atomic Habits, because they kind of teach you about habit stacking, and at first it seems like, no, if I really want this, then I should be able to remember it. Yes, perhaps, but also life. Okay? Habit stacking is a great way to start a new habit. The next is to take 5 minutes at the end of your day and plan your next day. Taking 5 minutes the night before to wrap your brain around what's happening tomorrow. What do I need to do tomorrow? Just double check those planners, double check any notes that you've got, double check with your spouse. Anybody got an appointment? I need to pick up so-and-so. What am I doing tomorrow? There's nothing worse than waking up feeling like your hair is on fire and you're like, I don't know what we're doing, and you feel like you're new here every day. That's a terrible feeling. It's not that you're going to bed anticipating and nervous and anxious. You're going to bed knowing that you kind of know what's coming the next day. You're prepared for it. When your eyes open, your brain will kick it back out of the archives and go, lady, wake up. Today we're doing this. It's probably not very exciting, but at least you can kind of start your day with a grip on the day. For me, it helps me start my day a little bit more chill, okay? If I feel like I'm panicking to get my coffee and do the thing, I gotta go find my planner. I don't even know what I'm doing today. And I do this sometimes, okay? You can ask my husband. He's like, what's on your agenda today? And I'm like, I don't know. It's terrible. So if I look at my planner, I take a second the night before, I make any to-do list, add anything, every day tends to bring something new and change a little bit of something here or there. So making sure that that's all squared away will help you sleep a little bit better probably too, right? Because you're not thinking about like, I'm a little anxious for tomorrow, because you already know at least what's coming in your mind. I can't promise you what's going to happen. These little things like this are easy to implement one at a time. Don't try to do all of these things at once, but one at a time, and little by little, I think you're going to see some serious improvements. And lastly, I just want to encourage you in two things, okay? If you made it to the end and all of my like silliness and stuff, now we're going to have serious Angie moment where I tell you a few things that I think that you should remember. Number one, done is better than perfect. So many people have convinced themselves that they are perfectionists and that they can't do that because they're a perfectionist. Are you a perfectionist or are you insecure? Because I think that's actually more what perfectionism can be about for a lot of people. It's not that you just need this thing to be perfect, it's that you're afraid if it's not perfect, people won't like you, people won't love you, people won't be impressed by you, people won't appreciate you, people will make fun of you. I mean, it's endless, right? So instead of pretending like we're just a perfectionist and that's why it just has to be this way, acknowledge that it's probably not always perfectionism. A lot of times it's insecurity, and solve the problem from there. Done is better than perfect. Things just need to get done. There's probably nothing on that list of things that you are putting off or delaying or whatever that would be better living on that list forever than being done pretty well, but not perfectly. And lastly, don't get so busy making to-do lists and checklists and running around trying to make systems and schedules and organizations and decluttering everything, and that you forget to make a life, that you forget to live your life, that you forget to enjoy your life, to see the beauty and the magic in the everyday, in the mundane of your life. Do not spend your life striving and making lists to check off and not living and loving the people in your home and in your family today, right now, whether it's messy or clean or organized or decluttered. That, my friends, is all that I have for you today for these mom hacks. I hope that you enjoyed. I hope that you will take something away from this video that you can use, and I will see you guys again very soon. Bye.